Welcome everyone to episode number 12 of the Power Ranger podcast. I am your host, Dante Pittman, and to my right is my co-host, JWR.
Howdy.
And if you're wondering why Dragon Raider X9 isn't here with us today, it's because he is sick and he's not feeling well, so we'll hope he'll get better.
We wish him our wishes. We wish him well.
Yes, we wish him well. Well, and I hope he comes back stronger than ever. Now, we got topics to discuss here. We got the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers Turbo, shifting to Turbo, the first episode. Then we'll discuss what went wrong at the Fan First Tuesday event. Then we will discuss episode 6 of season 2 of Down of Fury. Then we have the investor call tomorrow. Then the Hasbro Q1 earnings call, and we're going to count down the top 5-6 Rangers. So here we go. First off, let's discuss episode 6 of season 2 of Dino Fury, and the episode is called New Leaf. So what did you think of this episode?
I very much liked this one. For several reasons. I very much enjoy what they're doing with Void Knight, or I guess we should call him Tarek now. I like that we I've kind of been mixed on how this season has been handling Ion, but I think he was good here. This is in my opinion one of his better outings. I like the conversation he has with the hacker. I like how the I don't know why. Maybe it could be the writing, it could be that the actors have had more time to find their footing, but I surprisingly really enjoyed the stuff with the side plot with Jayborg and Jane, and how that paralleled with them finding Void Knight's drone, as well as their I'll be honest, like the subplot involving Buzz Blast getting hacked was the less interesting part of the episode, but I still enjoyed it, and I like that I like the progression of the story. I like how this isn't a Princess Vieira situation where he switches on a dime and suddenly becomes the good guy. I like that we are building up to him sort of coming to the realization that he had been on the wrong side, and that he is kind of working his way towards joining up with the Rangers. Not a whole lot else to add other than that. I enjoyed it.
All right. I enjoyed this episode too. Loved it. As you said, the subplot was the least interesting part of this episode, but I enjoyed it. Love how we get, Void Knight time. Well, we call him Tarek now. But it's, well done. We don't often get to see a story like that often much in movies or TV shows or whatever. But anyway, I thought it was handled well. And and Ion, and you said Ion, this is one of Ion's better outings, and it was. And I thought it was good as well. But I like how we get our first person of color as a Gold Ranger.
Always a plus.
Ranger. That's a plus right there. And it was very fun. So yeah, I enjoyed this episode. It was well done. A subplot of Buzz Blast getting hacked was the least interesting part of this episode. But overall, it was good enough. Okay, so now let's discuss what went wrong with Fan First Tuesday event.
So, Um, Last Tuesday was our first Hasbro hosted fan first event in 4 months, and that was so the event was preceded by this passive aggressive tweet where Hasbro was like, okay, you've been begging for us for the last 4 months, so here we go. So here we go. You're gonna get a big event on Tuesday. Be there. And at first, like I saw a lot of people who were up in arms about that. Who were up in arms about that because they felt this is too passive aggressive. This is needlessly needlessly condescending. But like I at first was like I I was on board with it because I was my mindset was like, okay, this is like at first it kind of came off as tongue in cheek. They usually don't show a lot at these fan first events, but with that in mind, with the tweet in mind, in my head, I thought, okay, maybe they're gonna blow the hinges off the door and surprise us with something we weren't expecting, or give us all kinds of news on what's next for the toys and the merchandise. And so going into that, I feel like that kind of I feel like that kind of improperly set people's expectations. So when the actual event, the 15-minute event, 15-minute Power Rangers panel, which came after an hour-long Transformers panel, so like when the event happened and it's like, oh wait, that's it. Unsurprisingly, a lot of people were disappointed, underwhelmed. That's putting it mildly. Um, and now that I guess the smoke has cleared, here's my take on it. Um, there's really no way to put it. This event was a bust. It was kind of an off day for them. But here's my take. I'm not angry. I'm not like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever. I miss Bandai. Hasbro doesn't care about Power Rangers. Everything. Hasbro just wants to just I'm not gonna jump to conclusions or I guess overreact or anything like that. I'm trying to think about this from a more level. I'm trying to take a more level-handed stance on this. I mean, objectively, that panel was a bust relative to the expectations they set up. I feel like if the tweet was more like, "Hey, we're working on lots of big things here at the command center, but we can't tell you everything just yet. So stay tuned for like this 15-minute panel." I feel like if they had let people know that that the event was going to be short and that there wasn't going to be a lot of if they let us know that it was going to be short and it didn't, and the tweet preceding the event didn't have that passive aggressive tone, I feel like the reaction would have been less severe, because that way you're letting people know up front. You're giving people a chance up front to set their expectations accordingly. I think it was I think it was Eric on the Ranger Command podcast who said that marketing is partially about setting expectations. And in that front, I think that's the biggest area where they dropped the ball. Like I think like okay, if they like I like the whole the now, to be fair, I liked what they did with the whole buzz blast thing. It's clever. It's a nice way to tie into the current season. Like if they went all the way with that, if they made it like if they set expectations accordingly and were, I guess, self-aware about it, like hey buzz blasters, here's a top 10 things you can look forward to in the coming months for Power Rangers. I Little things like that I feel like would have made it less of a disappointment.
All right. Anything else to add?
Um, the one, I guess quickly, I would like to counter or address the sentiment that that Hasbro's handling of the franchise, while not perfect and definitely um I hear this take going around like Hasbro is treating the brand worse than Bandai, or that things under Disney or Neo Saban were better. To which I would respectfully disagree, because you have to remember that Saban initially sold the franchise to Disney after Wild Force because they weren't sure they it wasn't really hitting it wasn't quite hitting the rating highs that previous seasons were hitting. They more or less felt like there was nothing else they could do with it. Disney, when they bought the brand, never they were never enthusiastic about owning it. At best, Power Rangers was something that they tolerated. They tolerated it so long as they could keep it relatively. So long they tolerated the first couple of seasons because moving to New Zealand made the show less expensive. But even then, they eventually sold the franchise because they were embarrassed to have the show at all. And like when they bought Power Rangers as part of a package deal with the rest of Fox Kids lineup, it was more or less the coleslaw they ordered with the meal. They didn't order it, and they don't know how it got there. It was just there. So that's why they sold it back to Saban. And then Saban sold it again because they realized that the way they were handling the IP just wasn't working anymore. Now, I mean, keep in mind, yeah, you got. I think we have to remember that Disney gave the show. Disney just decided that they wanted nothing to do with those shows, starting with Mystic Force. And when Hasbro inherited the franchise, they did so on the cusp of a global pandemic. So they are just trying to make sure that the franchise is still going while dealing with this world surrounding mess. Could could Hasbro make more toys for Power Rangers? Yes, and they should. Could they work to listen to the fans better? Oh, for God, oh, definitely, definitely. I don't think either you or me would deny that, right?
Yeah, I can't deny it.
So early on, I still think that Hasbro has a plan for the franchise, and I want to see what that plan is. Although I am kind of hoping that they start telling, or that they start sussing out a few details every now and here and there, because outside of we don't. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this, but we really don't know what their plans are beyond Dino Fury season 2 and that project that Jonathan and Whistle is working on. And even then, we only know a few sparse details. So I think there are a few bumps in the road here and there, like last Tuesday. But I mean, it is what it is at this point. Hopefully, next time they host one of these events, they actually have something substantive and they set expectations accordingly. And really, that's kind of all I have to say about this subject. Because if I keep going, I just feel like we're just going to devolve into me going into this long, bile spewing rant, and nobody wants that.
Yeah,
Especially when I can barely get out a coherent sentence when I'm not pissed off.
I understand that.
But yeah,
All right. I'm a bit disappointed as well. I mean, as much as I love Transformers and Power Rangers, I kind of expected more than just toys.
well,
Like,
that's
see,
to be fair. That's usually the is it Sorry, I had
it's
something
okay.
caught in my throat. To be fair, that's usually what these fan events are for. toys and
Yeah,
merchandise.
and I understand, but I kind of expected more. I love the Transformers toys. I love them. They're
Oh
cool.
yeah, yo, it's funny. Like I tuned into this for the Power Rangers panel, but I actually ended up getting more out of the Transformers panel, like all the toys and the reveals. So I guess in that retrospect, I was the event wasn't a complete bust.
It wasn't. And you're right, it wasn't a complete plus because I love the Transformers toys. They look
Yeah,
very cool. And the fact that you guys have Peter Cullen voicing Optimus in the trailer, it was actually very cool. And I
yeah.
love the new Optimus Prime toy. It looks very cool.
Hmm.
Like you can move his trick, move hit the robot probably with an app, and that makes it more cool. That makes it more cool.
Right.
So while not a total bust, it was enough to send us into a big pileup. So
Sure. that's 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 one way to put it. Yeah.
yeah, so but I did like the drag, but in the Power Ranger side of it, I kind of like the Dragonzord toy. It's
I
very
mean,
nice.
the reveals were nice. I like
Yes.
the Zap Dragon Zord, and I like the this I like I like the reveals. What little we got. The Power
Yes.
Sword. I'm not an avid collector, but the Power Sword looks it looks nice. I like
It
that they
does look
made it out of I like that it's made out of die-cast metal. Though I could personally do without it playing the MMPR theme, but that's neither here nor there.
yeah. So yeah, while not a total bust,
Yeah, it
it
was
was
it was
enough
a
to send us
misstep.
a
It
big
was
pile up.
it was
It was
kind
a big
yeah.
misstep.
Uh,
So yeah, that was Fan First Tuesday. Now let's discuss about this Hasbro Q1 earnings call.
yeah, I mean, I know it's only tangentially related to Power Rangers and Sentai, but I figured it was worth mentioning. So tomorrow, Hasbro is hosting their earnings call, their quarter one earnings call for their investors, and just up front, do not expect any kind of news or updates. Like, excuse me, excuse me. Like, if we didn't get anything from the Fan First Tuesday, like we nobody should expect anything of any kind of substance for tomorrow's earnings call. Although I do feel like it's worth mentioning because we might get an update on where they currently stand on Power Rangers, how the brand has performed, and I guess their evaluation of it. Yeah, I know we are, and I know it's kind of grasping. We are like textbook definition of grasping for straws and any kind of news or updates. But I feel it's important. I feel it was worth bringing up because it's always important to see where the company stands, where what their position is on the brand that they own.
I can
So
agree with that.
I just figured it was worth mentioning for that.
It's all right. It's okay. I don't have much to say on this one. I just hope for the best, Hasbro.
Yeah.
So, so that was the Hasbro Q1's earning call discussion. Now
Yeah.
we're
Before we
we're
go, wait, but before we move on to the next topic, I I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know if I can, as it stands right now, I don't know if I can definitively say that things are well. Let's not exactly be hasty, but yeah, I I'm still not exactly sure where Hasbro stands on this franchise, though I'm hoping that if we get anything tomorrow, which we most likely will not, I'm hoping, praying at this point, that we get some kind of update. who knows? Wait, maybe the odd detail about what's coming next might come out, but don't hold your breath.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyways, moving forward.
All right.
Like I didn't mean to step over you at the moment. Do you mind if I just introduce the topic?
Sure, go ahead. Introduce.
So a couple of weeks ago, we celebrated we celebrated quote unquote the 25th anniversary of the Turbo Power Rangers movie, and this week we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of actual first the actual the premiere of the actual season of Turbo, the three-part pilot Shift into Turbo, which aired on April 19th, 1997. Although honestly, calling it a pilot feels oh sorry, we'll get to that later. What were you going to say? Were you going to say something?
Yes, I think Turbo is one of the worst Power Ranger seasons.
I mean, that's
Before
not a
this was,
dispute. I mean, that's not. I don't think anybody would dispute that. This is certainly one of the weaker seasons.
yes, weaker seasons of this franchise, and
Yeah.
this is before Megaforce, Super Megaforce came
Okay.
along, and Ninja
Yeah.
Steel too.
Right. So yeah, I say pilot because I say pilot in air quotes because these first three episodes are just more or less a clip show recap of everything that happens in the movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
I figure, since we already went in depth on the movie when we commemorated the anniversary, we might as well just talk about the
Yeah,
season in detail.
yeah,
As you've
might as
said,
well.
I don't think it's better. I don't think anybody would. I think it's universally agreed that Turbo is one of the weakest seasons of Power Rangers, especially in the first half, where you could just tell that the actors, the writers, and everybody else involved was just getting sick of it and going through the motions, and that reflects in the first couple of episodes of Turbo, which just feel which just you could tell that the passion and the enthusiasm was gone at that point, and that reflects, and as I said, that kind of reflects in the writing, which feels been there, done that. It's been there, done that. We don't care. We're just doing this for the sake of a paycheck at this point.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Although, having said that, with all of the faults and the issues surrounding Turbo, having said all that, I will say that Turbo, it at least got better after the power transfer. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. It still felt it was still, I guess, in the shadow of the previous seasons. Just wait, Justin is still, in my opinion, one of the worst characters in the franchise. Divatox is still a very dull and frankly unintimidating villain. So the flaws in the first half of the season don't automatically go away. They're in later on. They're still prevalent, but at least with the power transfer, we have a refreshing it did, like I said, it didn't automatically become a great season, but it did get better. It did at least become more, it at least felt more unique, more, not more unique, but more, uh, there were good episodes sparkled here and there. There were, this was, I like that that similar to Operation Overdrive, the season took the occasional risk every now and then. I like that and regardless of what you think about the season, I think most people would agree that the finale, the two-part finale, it it got off to a rocky start, but it at least ended on a high note, on a high enough note that it kind of that it at least that it partially salvaged the season and paved the way for In Space.
yeah, yeah.
I wanted to hear your thought. What are your thoughts? Do you feel
My
differently?
thoughts on my thoughts on this show. It was the one of the weaker seasons of this franchise, and this was before Megaforce, Super Megaforce, and Ninja Steel and Super Ninja Steel. But I think I kind of like, you know, mm, I think the Blue Satorian was a good guy in my
Yeah,
view.
I liked him.
It was cool, and yes, there were some faults at this. I mean, it's basically a been there, done that type of show because I was hoping for something more out of that. Hoping for something more. I did like with it, and yes, Justin is one of the weaker characters of this franchise. No disrespect to the actor, though. No disrespect to the actor. But anyway, but Demetra, how you say it, Demetra?
Demetria, I think that's how they say it. That they
Yeah,
said it. Jesus Christ, I cannot talk
that
today.
Demetra
Demetria.
replaced Zordon, which I was it to me I felt it was questionable
Very
because
questionable.
I mean I don't know what's the deal behind that. Well, guess we'll
They
never know.
just will no. I guess not.
Yeah, but I did like the Morphers though. The Morphers weren't bad.
They were fine. I think I guess I want to say that I want to say that it's a that it was kind of a problem with the season they were adapting, which Car Ranger, which was more or less a parody of Super Sentai, but I don't think that's ever stopped. I don't think that's ever stopped them before. I don't think that's ever stopped them before. Who knows?
Yeah,
It get I maybe it's I guess uh what's whatever I forget the terminology, but maybe it's hindsight, but I did legitimately I maybe it's because I saw In Space first, but after revisiting Turbo, I did legitimately start to kind of get into it, and in the second half after TJ and Cassie and the rest take over.
I agree. So my thoughts on Debatox. I didn't really care for her because it feels like more we're getting basically like a Rita Repulsa type of villain.
Not even that. Not even that. Because see, like Rita Repulsa was I guess was I mean okay she was proactive. She did stuff. She actually had she was actually a credible threat to the Rangers. Like
Yes, she
Diva
was.
Diva Talk spends most of the season most of the season cackling, whining, whining about the whining about her husband leaving her, giving her giving her lackeys orders, and just being. I I think I don't know. I was never able to take her seriously as a villain. And unlike Lothor, where he was kind of meant to be silly and goofy, Diva Talks to me just came off as more, I guess, annoying than anything else. But hey, at least the actress, at least the actress playing Diva Talks seemed to be having fun, which I guess
I
kind of
agree.
translates on the show because, like, you can tell that she was at least having fun.
Yeah, I could tell.
And again, I don't. I'm sorry. I refuse to believe that that Diva Talks of of all the villains in this franchise is the one who definitively took down the Rangers.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta agree with you in there, JWR. Now let's talk about the Zords. The Zords
Eh,
were cool. They're
they
all
were fine.
right.
It was fine.
Just didn't really care for him much. Megazord was kind of cool though.
Yeah.
This Turbo Megazord spin out was not a bad finisher though, in my opinion. I thought it was really unique.
The Zords were fine. They were fine. They're not my favorite. They're not my least favorite. They're just kind of there. Maybe I feel differently. Maybe I feel differently if I actually no. I like the Zords. I like the vehicles and aesthetics of the season. It's just it's the writing where most of the problems come in.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you got anything else you wanted to add? Because
I think I'm gonna add more to this. Let's add a little more to it. So as I said, let's speak about Justin. About Justin, the Blue
do we
Ranger.
do we have
I
to?
mean, we gotta at this point because I want to say this, man. I mean, in the movie, Justin replaces Rocky after his had an injured back
No, let's not.
and retires as a Ranger. I mean, what the heck?
All I'll put it this way: all the problems I have with Rocky, I'm sorry, Jesus Christ, all the problems that I have with Justin have more to do with the I guess with the mindset behind the writing more than the idea of the character itself. Uh, Let me explain. The idea of of one of the Rangers being younger than the rest of the team is fine, and
That's fine.
I can understand. I can sort of understand wanting a character in the show who is relatively the same age as the kids watching. But here's the thing. Um, Beyond the contrived way in which Justin becomes the Blue Ranger, I just think there's I don't know. I just think there's it just becomes it's hard to put it. In a show that's designed no, I'm trying to okay, put it like this. It just kind of feels counterintuitive to put a kid on a show where most of the main characters are teenagers and kid and I guess especially in especially considering that kids more than not tend to look up to teenagers. Like the whole premise, the whole appeal of this show for younger audiences old was seeing these teenagers in action. So while I can understand them wanting somebody who is creating Justin being created with the intent of him being the character that kids related to the most, I feel like that kind of I guess under that undermines the main intent of the show and makes it feels a little bit patronizing. To say not
Yeah.
to say nothing of the fact that I'm sorry, I don't know how I would have done it, but I think the big thing is the fact that the big thing is how contrived the process of Justin replacing Rocky is. Like if they had put more effort into the setup, if they had done more to show that he was worthy of being a worthy of like taking over the Ranger powers despite being younger than everybody else. If they had handled it better, I don't think it would have been as much of a problem. But at the very least, they had the common sense to not have him carry over to not have him carry
Hold on a
over.
minute. All right. Sorry.
But,
My grandma just came. Go ahead.
okay, but yeah, all the problems with Justin have more to do with the writing than the character itself. Although even then the idea behind the character itself was always kind of was the idea behind the character could have worked if it had a better execution.
Yeah. Could have worked better. I don't think I have anything else to add about it.
I don't think I
So,
do either.
so let's just move on. Well, I guess this, and to end it up, let's count down the list for the top 5 Rangers. Now, just to clarify, we're not counting extra Rangers, and they're because they're part of a subset, and they're not part of the core team neither, nor they're not 6 Rangers, but they're like allies. So we're not counting those. For this list, we're just counting down the main villains. Well, not the main villains, excuse me, the main 6 Rangers. That's a sentence. Anyway, as always, rule number 1 is basically our opinion. Of course, so, all right. I'll start with me. Number 5 for me, I'm going to have to pick. I'm actually going to pick Merrick from Wild Force. Now, yes, I know he started off as a bad guy, but I do like his lone vibe. He kind of reminds me of Dylan from RPM. And I like his morpher. I love the silver. I love the color hue of his suit. I love that. It looks beautiful. And I love the lunar cube. And the Zords look very good. And I think he has a bad boy vibe. And his growl jacket looks super cool though. So what's your number 5, JWR?
Might be a potentially controversial one, but I'm going to go with. Actually, no. I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to include. Instead of a top 5 list, I'm going to make it a top 6 list.
Ooh, top 6.
So for the number 6 spot, I'm going with Sir Ivan from Dino Charge.
The Knight of Sanda. Okay.
Yes.
Why did you add him to this list here?
I mostly like him because of his personality. I'm not the biggest fan of. Actually, no, that's a lie. I am usually a sucker for the fish out of water characters, but I like seeing his progression as he gets more accustomed to as he gets more accustomed to modern times, and I like seeing he just adds a certain he I like what he adds to the team. Like the Dino Charge team, the Rangers already have like a good banter and chemistry, but I think his addition he's a very entertaining addition to an already pretty solid team. Plus, I know some people don't like it, but his constantly trying to woo over Shelby, and Tyler's irritation with that. I just find that hilarious.
Yeah, I found that hilarious as well. Oh, right. So if you're gonna take a step further, I might as well take one too. Number 6 for me will be number 6 for me. It's Sane from In Space. That's number 6 for me. Because even though there are private chat. Let's see. Oh, there's your list. I see. All right. Yeah, for number 6, Sane from In Space. Sane has a brooding type bad boy. And the fact that he's been frozen for so long adds that. But just like Ivan, I like how he's trying to progress all of this at bits of times. I like he's a ladies man. You know? because I'm a sucker for those and all that. Yeah, I like his weapon suit. But for me now, Zane and Andros have been friends for a long time, and I know that for sure. I know that for sure. When it comes to like other stuff, they can get into a bit of a argument there. I understand he's been frozen for so long, but at least he's trying to do something about that, and it's not bad. I thought it was really nice. But for me, number four for me, okay, I'm actually now I'm going to count these both together. Hunter and Blake Bradley from
I
Ninja
don't think
Storm.
I'm not sure those exactly count.
Well, they're technically six Rangers.
No, I don't. Cam is the sixth ranger of that group. I don't really know if we can classify Blake and Hunter in that category.
Hmm.
They come they're not they come on they join the show later, but they still more or less make up the core group.
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, number four, I will have to go with Cam Watanabe from Ninja Storm.
Mm-hmm.
I picked Cam as number four because the story. I like how Cam gets a story arc, the way the samurai and such, but it added a lot more heart to that. Because Cam, all his life, he wanted to be a ranger, just like the others, but his father said no, but due to a promise he made with his mother. Really, I love that character dynamic. I love the character development of Cam. And I like how the Rangers defended history, saying like that's messed up. See? And Shane tells him that asked Sensei that they always told him that they always will make up their choices. But Sensei agrees, but as a parent, it's far more complicated. And Blake said it seems simple enough to them. Gotta trust him. And that Cam and then Hunter said that Cam is the best of all of us. And out of all people, he would make a great ranger. And that's what I like about
And he turned out to be just that.
And yes, that's why I like that.
I guess I could just I figure I would just rattle off the rest of my list. At number five, I have Tommy Oliver. I guess kind of um kind of kind of perfunctory by proxy of him being the very first Sixth Ranger, and due to the impact that he had on the show, because you got to remember that for better or worse, Tommy was kind of the I guess he kind of became the standout character in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. His first appearance on the show and his big debut was the big turning point for the show. So by that metric alone, I kind of had to include him on the list. Then at number four, I had Merrick Balaton.
Yeah,
Merrick,
Peloton, we got it.
yeah,
Peloton.
Merrick from Wild Force, mostly because of the way his story ties into Princess Shayla's, and mostly for the way in which his arc, like his transition from Zen Aku to like his transition from an antagonist to the Rangers to brooding bad boy with standalone complex to eventually learning to trust the Rangers. I think he has I don't know if I'd say he has the best arc of any character in the show, but his his I basically like how it handles his storyline, how the progression of the character, and yes, the lunar Q is badass.
I loved it too. I loved that.
Number three, Commander Kruger, the Shadow
Oh,
Ranger from
oh, I was gonna give
SPD.
my number. I was gonna give him my number three first. Daniel,
Oh, oh,
I'm
sorry, I
sorry.
beat you.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
Guess I beat you to it.
number
He,
three, number three for me would be. Oh man, for me, I'll have to pick Donna from Mystic Force.
Interesting.
Yes, because yes, I know she's the true Sixth Ranger out of all the group. So I knew that, sure. And the fact that we get a female Sixth Ranger in so long updates that very much. I like that. We don't often get a female Sixth Ranger in this franchise, but she makes up
Gosh.
for that.
Yeah,
And
it would have been. Wouldn't Daggeron fit this? I wouldn't Daggeron fit the Sixth Ranger mantle more since he came first. Since he came first, and I guess had more screen time. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It's weird. The whole thing with SPD and Mystic Force is that it's kind of nebulous as to who counts as the like there are so many additional rangers that it's kind of hard to classify which one is the true sixth ranger of that season or that team.
I kind of agree on that. But Udana, though, Udana was the true Sixth Ranger when she came out first because I like how she transforms. It looks. I love the I love the snow staff. It's very beautiful, and the fact that she can grow big to fight Korag. It looks. I thought that was very cool. I thought she could get her own sword, but no. I would have been more cool if she got a sword, but
Did she have one in Did her Sentai counterpart in Magic Ranger have one?
I don't think so.
Well, there you go.
But that would have been cool. More cool though. That would have. Anyway, I like how she helps the Rangers, of course. But mostly Nick, due to his like stubbornness and such. And we found out that Udana is Nick's mother and Korak is Nick's father. That shook me because I never thought we would never thought we would have that. That changed up the whole thing for me. And yeah. What's your and you said number four your number four was Commander Kruger?
Commander Kruger from SPD. Actually, no. I don't say no. Three. No. Commander Kruger is my number three.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Only
number four.
Only fitting that arguably the best mentor character in Rangers also turned out to be one of the best, I guess, sixth Rangers. Gonna be, he was already kind of like a very compelling as like a leader and a mentor, but him becoming a Ranger, I guess becoming the Shadow Ranger, the whole arc with the Shadow with the Shadow Saber, and how that ties into his backstory surrounding the A Squad and his home planet and his feelings on Emperor Grum. Yeah, I mean there was no I wasn't going to include him on the list.
Yeah.
You want me to
blame you there?
So I'm just gonna, if it's all the same with you, because I kind of want to be. I don't really have a whole lot. If I was gonna ask if I could just rattle off the last two.
Yes, that's fine. Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
Sure. So number two, Eric Myers, Quantum Ranger, Time Force, course. Enough said. And my personal favorite, I guess my number one is Cam Watanabe, the Green Samurai Ranger from Ninja Storm.
Of course.
I've gone in depth about about this character's growth, his initial arc, his I've talked in depth about why I love Cam the way I do. I won't go into that again, just to I guess I don't want to repeat I won't repeat myself, and I guess I like Cam. I've made it clear that I like this character, and that's about it. So what about you? What are your remaining three?
My remaining three. I'm gonna pick Ryan Mitchell from Lightspeed
Ah,
Rescue, the
a
Titanium
nice
Ranger.
choice. Good
Now
choice.
this this was the first American-made six Power Ranger,
Hmm.
because considering the Sentai didn't have one.
Well, no, the Sentai Go Go V did not. He was an original Power Rangers creation, but the
Yes,
production but they actually had Toei design the suit.
yes. So yes, the first original Power Rangers, the original Power Rangers creation. And anyway, it's mostly about the story of the Titanium Ranger arc,
Hmm.
and how the backstory was moving and deep. How Captain Mitchell, Dana, and Ryan were in a car, like in a car crash, and they were trying to hang on.
Yeah.
And then Diabolical
Hmm.
says that if he can help them, and can you tell the captain says go away, and
Yeah.
then
We don't. Yeah. We don't. Yeah. We could. We don't need to go into that. But yeah, his story's right. We don't need to go in like the whole.
yes, I don't want to have to go all through it, but anyway, then
That's right.
Diabolical saves Ryan, and then tells him that if he
I guess my yeah.
that they won't
Mine's great.
see him again. They
I
won't
guess
see him
my
again until his 20th birthday. Well,
yeah. Uh huh. Uh huh. My only I
damn,
didn't mean
bro,
to.
talk about heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's great. It's hard.
It's just great. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Just don't care.
I guess the only it would I guess the only downside is that we don't really get to see a whole lot of him as the Titanium Ranger. But again,
Yes.
you got to remember that you got to remember that since he was an original Sentai, he was an original creation for the show. They didn't have a lot of Sentai footage to work off of, so they were forced to make do with what they had.
Yeah. But he's great. Either way, it's great. Number two for me. What should I put in number two? I guess I can put RJ from Jungle Fury, the Purple Wolf Ranger.
Well, I think Dominic would be a better fit. Would be a better choice for. Would be a better choice. Not to say that RJ isn't a great character. He is, but he's again like Blake and Hunter in Ninja Storm, like Tommy in Dino Thunder. I don't think he kind of he's more or less like the he's still kind of well okay, he's not a core ranger, but he is I don't know if I'd count them as sixth rangers because they are the in but the next I don't know what the term is for that, but they're I don't know if they count as sixth rangers.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. So let me change this up a bit.
Dominic maybe.
Dominic. Oh yeah, Dominic from Jungle Fury, the white, the Rhino Ranger. Okay, yeah, I guess I'll go with him. Dominic from Jungle Fury. Now, I like how he gets a story arc of his own about the dagger and how the Rhino Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
The sword itself looks very beautiful. It's very beautiful and well thought out. And of course, when Daichi made it all the way there, and I thought until that he possessed the Rhino spirit, but he'll have the Rhino powers. And what would have happened if he would have got the Rhino powers? Well, that would have been scary to think. Yes, he'll be more powerful than Grasaka, but that would be more scary on his own. But anyway, Yes, it is his destiny.
What's your number one pick?
All right. My number one pick for being the for the best sixth ranger in my opinion. Oh man, I don't know if I count them, but I'll try to do it anyway. Oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot of decisions. I'm gonna pick Trent Fernandez Mercer from
All right.
Jonathan.
All right.
Oh right, because it gives off Mighty Morphin vibes
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
because of the Green with
Yeah.
Evil story arc.
Yes. Very reminiscent of the Green with the Green with Evil.
Yes, and his
The back and
sword looks
forth.
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
The suit looks great.
I think it's the back and forth between him and the other Rangers who constantly go back and forth whether or not they can trust him, whether or not he's fully on their side. That kind of makes it.
Yes, but with Tommy, at least his friends never gave up on him.
Well, yeah, it's a different circumstance though, because in this case, the big bad is also happens to be sharing a body with Trent's father.
Yes, that gives off Dr. Jekyll and Hyde vibes
Yes.
with that. And that's scary to even think about. Mexico is the best villain. Come at me. He's the best villain.
I'm
don't
not going
care.
to. I'm not going to dispute that. I don't know if I'd say. I don't know if I. He's not my favorite villain, but I'm not. I'm not going to dispute that. He's great.
Yes, he's great. Layton Games did a great job with this character. But anyway, and I
Yeah,
think
Trent's awesome. Trent's awesome.
Prince awesome, and I got more to add to it.
Oh, please do go on.
Yeah, it feel more. His suit looks awesome.
Yeah.
His
Oh yeah.
powers,
The Abba Killer suit looks bad. It's great. It's
it's great.
badass.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Anyway, and his power, super speed,
Yeah, he's OP.
and
OP is.
and then the fact that he can go camouflage, which is
Mhm.
basically invisibility, but a lot more
Yes.
better.
Isn't it
I
the
think
same?
that's more cooler than ever. That's more awesome. Super Dynamo looks great on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he absolutely looks great. And the Dragozor looks beautiful. And the Dino Stegozord too was great. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, yes. Trent is the best Sixth Ranger. Come at me, folks. Let us know what y'all think in the comments who your best 5 Six Rangers are. But anyway, that is going to be it here for this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this episode. If you like this piece, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Get notified every time I upload a new video when I go live right here. Also, go follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and all that. And thank you, JWR, for coming out.
Of course.
And of course, Dragon Raider X9, we wish you well on your recovery.
We hoped we can't make any promises, but we hope that he will be able to join us next week.
Yes.
And likewise, we also hope you tune in next week.
Yes. Yep. So, till we meet y'all next week, let the power protect you.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.